that the moon was never split. So how do you like reconcile that?
Right. So there is a picture on the NASA's webpage. I seen it a couple of years ago. It's clear as day, but it's a picture. It's a highly detailed picture of the moon. There's a ridge in between the moon, all around the moon, and
Bro,
I
this
believe
is not.
scientists say that the moon was two rocks, and those two rocks formed into each other. But obviously, from how clean the ridge is, just by the fact that it looks like it was put together and put back in place, it suggests that this.
Bro, but you
I
have
mean,
like.
you know what I mean. But also, though. But I just wanted to point out this though. I just want to point out this though. As far as trying to prove miracles, that's like something that isn't really possible just by the simple fact that the Bible says that Jesus turned water into wine. There's no scientific historical way to prove that Jesus turned water into wine or that he walked on water. So the prophet did certain things that you may not find, detailed proof for, but Jesus did a lot of things that you have no detailed proof for. So I can say that miracles shouldn't be
No, but
miracles
I'm
shouldn't.
just,
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm see what you're saying. I just responded because you said like you appeal to the science, right? You said because this is like scientifically proven.
Well, not just that, but the Quran confirms what scientists and historians believe. I mean, as far as like looking into comparing, the biblical narrative of Sodom and Gomorrah and the Quranic narrative of Sodom and Gomorrah, the biblical narrative has a lot of holes in it, but the Quran has a lot of, detailed information on it that historians have said that was accurate. Even the description of the universe and how everything functions and flows, and just the description of, some people call it the Big Bang Theory. And I can pull up the same exact verse right now, but basically it talks about a scroll, and the scroll undid, and in the end times, the scroll is gonna snap back in place. So I can say that some scientists have quoted this as proof of the Big Bang, that the Big Bang actually did exist, because it's talking about the same exact similarities between the Big Bang and this concept of how it snaps back in place. I don't know fully about, I don't know the terminology about it, but that's just what they say.
Yeah, sure, I see what you're saying, but um, like I don't know how do you like what's your criteria for picking like when to basically use science to prove the Quran and when not to use the Quran? I mean, when not to use the science.
Right. So, I mean, my goal isn't to use science to prove the Quran, but it's just not a coincidence that some scientific claims and some scientific discoveries that were discovered within the 20th 21st century line up exactly with what the Quran was talking about 1,500 years. I mean,
Yeah,
the
like but we have
I'll go ahead.
like we have like a lot of people right from the past. Like Aristotle talked about like stuff that we discovered later. Would you say that he's from God or?
No. So that's why I said that the Quran didn't make these claims, that the Quran's confirming these claims. Because if we were to use this terminology, people were already saying that all life was created from water, before the time of the Prophet. However, though, the Quran says that every human being is made of water. So it confirms that, there are living beings that are made of water, but these are specifically human beings that are made of water, and not every single thing is made of water. So the Quran just confirms specific things and specific claims that have been made. And by the fact that, in the past, they said that everything was made of water.
Yeah,
Oh,
but like
no, no,
like
no. I talk too much, bro. I talk too much. I came at a stopping point.
you're good, but like I just want to know because you had a lot of like figures in the past, like Aristotle made like a lot of claims which were ahead of his time and which we the science only discovered later on, right? But you wouldn't say that's sufficient for him to be a prophet from God, right?
No, just because, I mean, no human being is perfect, and I'm sure that he didn't have any detailed information on specific things. Because in the past, one thing that I've noticed about is, in the past, there's been a lot of scientific claims that certain things function this way, certain things go this way. However, though, now that we're in the 21st century, we have computers, and we have more technology to really go more in depth about these things, and we can suggest that most of the claims that were made in the past, they're not 100% what we believe today. I mean, they have similarities on the belief, but however, since we have technology, we can go more into depth on these things. And I can say that, before the time of the Prophet, when all these things were being claimed, they didn't have technology that we have today to confirm, to know for sure whether these things are actually what they say they are. They would have just been hypothesis. They would have been most likely, but it wouldn't have been proven.
Yeah, sure. But you know the verse like about embryology in the Quran.
Yeah, and what chapter and verse are you talking about?
I honestly don't know from top of my head, but it like talks
Okay.
about kind. It gives kind of like a relatively detailed account on the embryology. Um,
So, what would you say would be wrong with the embryology description in the Quran?
no, I mean I'm just going like based on you appealing to science because I'm pretty sure like most scientific consensus. I didn't dive too much into that account, but I'm just wondering like um, as
I
far as I
mean,
saw, like most of the scientific consensus would disagree with that. I think.
I have this right here, and this is
Can you
just a
bring what
general. Oh,
specifically
go
they
ahead,
would
Akhi, go
disagree
ahead.
with?
Oh, I know you're wrong. My bad, bro.
Yeah, that's fine, okay, no problem. But do you have like anything specific that supposed a scientific or scientists would disagree with?
Wait, let me just read. I think it was about. You probably remember what's like the argument against, but think about like the bones
Like
and the flesh.
in reference or relation to backbones and ribs, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously the response for that is pretty simple. That when the verse says idam, that if you go to classical Arabic lexicons like Tafiruz Abadi or Lisan al-Arab, it uses bone, or in the case of the Arabic language, bone and cartilage are used synonymously. And through, like, if you look at the human fundamentals or fundamentals of human embryology by John Allen, like on that specific section, he explains how there's like these cartilaginous models of the bone. And then you have muscle cells, right, that aggregate to form myoblasts that lash on to the cartilaginous models of the bone. So in fact, that verse is in line with embryology, and there's no issue with it.
But do you have like, um, do you have any references? Because I gotta.
Yeah, give me like a minute.
Okay.
On my laptop.
Anybody there? My headphone dropped and I was trying to find it right now, so my bad about that. I dropped my headphone, so I was trying to find it.
Yeah, he's just getting the reference.
Oh, okay, for sure, for sure. All right, so meantime, while y'all are waiting on that, I'm just gonna respond to some of the comments. Okay, so Angel wouldn't hit nobody. All right, something. Okay, if you're saying that angels won't hit nobody, and I'm not trying to change the topic at all, I'm just responding to comments. So Angel wouldn't hit nothing or write something. Okay, and Jeremiah, an angel hit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look up the same exact name, but there was an instance. I forgot who was locked up. It was in the Old Testament. He was locked up. The angel, I believe it was Jeremiah. He hit Jeremiah in the side to wake him up, and he told him to leave. So I can say that there are physical encounters of angels and human beings.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you read this real quick, if you don't
Yeah,
mind?
for sure.
Yeah, one second.
There you go, Aki.
All right, can you see my screen? Yes.
I can see.
Yeah, so it says what? Soon after the cartilaginous models of the bone have been established, the myogenic cells, which have now become myoblasts, aggregate to form muscle masses eventually on the dorsal aspects of the limbs. And then in this section, right, it says at the bottom, ultimately the muscles and tendons become attached to the bony structures so that they produce their actions across the joint.
Wait,
Right?
but
Well,
yeah, so
what's
it's
the
but I'm gonna go look like would you say that the
yeah,
interpretation?
it's page 542 out of 712 regarding the human fundamentals or human fundamentals of embryology by John Allen.
Yeah, I made a screenshot, but would you say that like if I go check the interpretation like from the Sahaba regarding this verse, would you say they're like in line with
This, right? So in the case of the how just like the argument is deriving that according to science today, they provide a distinction between cartilage and what's it called, bones. But in the case of the Sahaba, they weren't deriving this distinction. That they're more so going to be synonymous, or they're understood as the same thing, right? That cartilage is just a softer, what's it called, type of bone. And the Quran uses idam, which is in relation to both typical like hardened, what's it called, bone, and then cartilage, which is going to be the earlier stages of bone that are more soft.
I took a screenshot. I'm gonna go check my own. I have just one quick question. You know the verse that speaks about like the moon being a reflective light or something, or the directed light?
I mean, I wouldn't say that it says it's a reflected light, but it just says that it's a light.
Yeah, but I think like I actually didn't research. I just heard someone make this argument based on the like the earliest interpretation. The way they take the word is going to be like a direct light, right? And that wouldn't be the case in reality.
That the moon would be a direct light based upon what? Just like the linguistics of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying that the Quran makes that claim.
Yeah, I'd have to look into it. I don't know what specifically you're referencing. Like when you're saying like in the verse when it references the sun as a diya and then like the moon as a nur.
Yeah,
Just
I think
because,
that's the
yeah, but then look, I mean, to be fair, I don't think this is like even like a good argument because it's more so just going to be reduced to semantics where it's going to be based on how they understood it, right? So you'd have to bring, in the case of nur being necessarily understood as merely as a primary source of light, not secondary.
Yeah, but wouldn't like if you take that interpretation that it's like a direct light, wouldn't that be the case?
No, but the issue is nobody takes that interpretation. Like nobody, I don't know if you're gonna is a direct source of light, just based
Yeah, I
on
mean,
the
to be
linguistics.
honest, I saw
That's just the claim, and what was the sources provided for that?
yeah, I'm
But I
gonna
remember looking into this a while back in relation to what Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim say pertaining to the word nur. And yeah, it is correct that nur is more so used to like, what's it called? Posit a primary source of light, right? But then that's not a negation to it also being in relation to secondary sources of light. For example, it be used for fire. That fire would be a type of nur, even though that light necessarily isn't going to be, or it's going to be causally like secondary.
Can
yeah,
I? I
I'm
want to chime in.
gonna
I wanted to chime in on that real quick, just because I found some information that will be useful. So when Surah Yunus 10:5 says, "It is He who made the sun a shining light, diya, and the moon a derived light, nur." So diya is a shining, self-generating light, often associated with intense brightness like fire or the sun. But nur is reflected or softer light, not inherently produced, but seen due to another source. In the Quran, the sun. Well,
Where are you getting this from?
Oh, I just looked this up online. I mean, this is ChatGPT right here, but this
No,
I just told it to.
that's not going to be a good source regarding that, because
Oh, okay.
you see a lot of times, sometimes it's kind of like fabricate verses or like what's it called, just rehash like the same type of ad hoc interpretations.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah, but like, how would you like flesh out like epistemically? You would take when it comes to taking the interpretation of that word, or you would grant the earliest interpretation to be more likely to
Well,
be
I'm
true.
just gonna state that nur is comprehensive for primary and secondary sources of light.
No, but I'm just saying, like, in
Even
the
though
case,
like the typical usage is going to be used for primary sources of light usually, but it doesn't negate it being in relation to secondary sources of light.
honestly, I'm gonna go get. We can like discuss another time this source. I wanna get the reference because for me it's hard to make these arguments. I don't speak Arabic.
Nah, you good, bro. You good.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. God bless.
All right, brother. God bless you, man. All right. Salam alaikum to Jibril. So you said okay. So I just wanted to go over it with you because I just wanted to make sure that whatever I'm pulling up isn't fabricated. but it said that dia is like a shining, self-generating light, like the sun, and that nur is like a reflected light. So I would say that the Quran isn't incorrect on this regard because it says that the moon does indeed reflect light. Well, according to the Arabic terminology, I just wanted to go over with you just to make sure it was accurate or not.
That's false, from what I know.
That's false. Oh, okay.
No, just if you like look at, let me actually like bring it up. Right now, diya is used is like a type of what's it called? A light that is produced from like heat or burning. So that's why Allah used that in relation to what's it called? The sun, right?
Oh, okay.
Now, when it comes to nur, it's gonna be. Let me actually like bring up what's the Arabic linguist is stating regarding this.
Okay.
It says here, most scholars of Arabic language and tafsir do not agree that nur is a transient reflection of light, and they do not accept that it is not an inherent characteristic. They say that this understanding is in fact taken from the philosophers who study astronomy and nature. From a linguistic and Quranic point of view, there is nothing to support this understanding. Therefore, this specious argument is completely baseless, especially since many of the Arabic language, such as Ibn as-Sakit, said that nur and diya are synonymous, and it is not known that there is any differentiation between them from a linguistic point of view. The reason why the Quran uses the word diya when referring to the sun and nur when referring to the moon is by way of variety and eloquence with the use of synonyms. This is common in Arabic, and the Quran was revealed in a clear Arabic tongue. Right? And this is by Abu Bilal al-Askari.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't mean so that's talking about the word dia, right?
No, both diya and nur. Right?
Oh, okay.
Diya and nur are synonymous terms, so there's no like real distinction between them.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to, yeah, that makes a lot of sense just because usually like
there's like a thing that I wish Muslims on this app would stop doing is that they take like little things I like to this, like, okay, you look at this semantical thing where it's like, oh, this is like a scientific evidence, or they make, and I hate when this argument is made, when they say, oh, the day is spoken about, what's it called, 30 times, and that there's 12 months, right? Or month is then like the word month in the Quran or Arabic is what is it referenced 12 times in the Quran. And these type of arguments are not good. Just like stick to what's it called, prophecies and historical accounts, because those are of like way stronger weight.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I appreciate you for that, bro. Because I want to make sure that I'm giving correct information. I'm not giving fabricated information, and so I appreciate you for clearing that up for me. So that way, I know for sure that ChatGPT just isn't reliable sometimes. All right, Aki. Well, I appreciate you, brother. It's always a pleasure bringing you up on here, man. I love you for the sake of Allah, man.
Yeah, I love you too, Akhi. But anyways, I'm in the middle of work. Assalamu alaikum.
All right, assalamu alaikum, Aki. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna restart my live right now. So everybody that's on the panel, go to my profile right now. Go to my profile. Stay there for 5 seconds. I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna restart my live. And whoever had questions or any objections or anything, whoever wanted to join the guest box, go and join my next live. Go to my channel right now and just stay there.